Okay, and so there is our graph. But notice my window is not correct. I need to change my window. Let's see. I need to change my window to -3, 3 and -3, 6. So we're going to hit window button right there. And notice it's not correct. I'm going to go ahead and change it using the negative button here, not the minus sign. So -3, down key, to 3. This is the scale. So if we're going by 1s or 5s, we're going to keep with a scale of 1. And then y minimum. So it's going to be -3 to 6. And hit graph. There we go. That's a new graph. Okay, so we're going to find the intervals of increasing and decreasing. So to do that, I want to know what those numbers are at this sort of change point. Okay? So to find these change points, these points are called maximum and minimums. Okay? So like looking up here, remember when we were talking about our change points? This would be a max. Because remember, if we're talking about parabolas, when we're looking at the vertex, we had the possibility of maximum and minimums. This was a max, and this was a min. Same idea kind of happens here. So we would have two maximums, or local maximums, and then a minimum. Oh, and while I'm at this, I wanted to mention, I totally forgot. Okay, I was using the brackets here. We're not supposed to be using brackets for the intervals. And when I white this out, sorry about that, I'll explain why. Okay, we're going to use the open parentheses because it's not actually decreasing on this point of 2. It decreases after 2, so we can't actually include 2. Just like right here, it starts increasing after 4, not at 4, so we wouldn't include 4. All right, so sorry about that. Okay, so talking about max and mins, let's see, what we're going to do is we need to figure out how to find a max and a min. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that on the calculator. I will also upload a video to Laulima that you can go ahead and check out as well. So, to find max and min, let's go ahead and find the max. So I want to figure out what that point is right there. So what I'm going to do is I want to actually hit calc. I don't want trace. See how calc is in blue? So to get to calc, I'm going to hit the blue key, second, trace. And I have some new options that pop up. And I said I wanted to find the maximum. So I'll go down to 4 and hit enter. All right, so now what's going to happen is it's going to have me pick a left bound and a right bound. And then I'll recenter on the point I want, and it'll give me a guess of what the point is that I'm trying to find. So the left bound, I'll hit kind of close to where I'm looking for, and hit enter. It'll have me pick a right bound, so I'm going to move to the right of the point I'm trying to find, and hit enter as well. And now it's going to say guess. So in this step, I'm going to move to the point I'm trying to guess at, which is about there is where I'm trying to guess. So I'm going to hit enter. And it has told me my maximum point is 0, 2. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and write my max is x equals 0, y equals 2. Okay, so that was the max. Let's go ahead and find the point for the minimum. So same thing, I'm going to do second trace. And let's go to minimum, 3. Hit enter. Now we're going to find the left bound. So let's go down to our point, holding that key. All right, so that looks like a good left bound. You try to get as close as possible to your point. Hit enter. Now it wants me to find the right bound. So I'll go to the right of my point a little bit. These numbers are kind of blocking it. Okay, there we go. That looks like a good point. Hit enter. And now it says guess. So I'm going to go back and try and get to the middle point where I want. Center it there. Looks good. And hit enter. And there we go. It's my best guess for minimum. And my instructions here say to round to 1 decimal place. So my minimum points, I'll say x is about 1.6 and y is about -2.6. Okay. So I'm going to put my calculator to the side for a second. Plot those points. Max was 0, 2. And minimum was 1.5 roughly, and -2 and a little more than half. So right there. Go ahead and label those points. And just going to sketch this graph for now. Looks like about what I had. Okay, so let's look for the intervals of increasing and decreasing. So my increasing interval, right here, increasing and increasing. So the increasing interval, we actually start, what is this? We start at -infinity. So increasing. We go from -infinity until, boop, 0. And then when do we start increasing again? We start increasing at 1.6 until positive infinity. Okay, and remember we don't include it because it doesn't start increasing until after 1.6. Okay, so for decreasing, see if you can find the interval for decreasing. Okay, so the interval we're decreasing on is this one right here. So that is from 0 until 1.6. Yep. All right. Okay, last thing to do. Finding local maximum and minimum. Okay, so we've already kind of introduced this as we've gone along. So we're just going to focus on it a bit more. So we're given the attached graph and we're asked to identify all of the local maximum and minimum and the value of x at which each occurs. Okay, so notice your maximum and minimum are talking about your y values. Okay, the y. And then it wants you to include the value of x at which each of these occurs. So first thing I'm going to do is look at where it changes from an increasing to a decreasing, or from a decreasing to increasing, and it happens at 3 points. Go ahead and see if you can identify them. Okay, so here are the 3 points, and I'll go ahead and label them. That is 1, 2, 3, 3, 1. This is 0, -1, and this point is -2, 2. So we have 3 sort of points there. Let's see, these are going to be my 2 maximums. So I have a maximum of 2 at x equals -2, or I could write it as a coordinate pair of the -2, 2. And then we have another maximum of 1 at x is 3. Or we could write it, depending on how they want your answer, as 3, 1. Go ahead and write your minimum. Okay, so the minimum of -1 at x equals 0. Or you could write it as your coordinate point 0, -1. Okay, there you go. That is it for 2.3. You have a written homework that will be due at the end of the week. Email me if you have any questions.